Yo, what it do? It's your boy Chef. Welcome to the post-game critique. Post-game critique. What's going on, folks? I see we got some folks in the spot. Who do we have? My man. Yeah, that guy. Just Victor Freeze, aka Young Smoke Break. I see you. Quantum Love. What she always shows. Love. What's going on? E Blizzy. Let's get it. Sherelle. There you go. What up, Dawn? What's going on, Dawn? 100 watts. Thanks for dropping by. If you guys aren't subscribed, or if all 12 of your burner phones have not subscribed, please get to tapping. Thank you. Yeah, yo, Teddy. After the show, it's the after party, and after the party, it's the hotel. Oh, yeah. After the party, it's me in my kitchen eating some curry goat and leftover oxtail from last night. What's up, Andrea? What's going on, Flower? About to pop this link in here for my folks. You know, the show is this thing here is not really about me. This is about y'all. These are about y'all, so come chop it up. Come shoot the breeze. Let's see what we got. These lives are becoming addictive. You should be asleep right now. Stay awake. What it do, King? Uh-oh. Who do we have here? Hello.
Hey,
what's going on?
I'm fine, Chef. I actually just come to stage to say one thing. So when you guys were talking, because I didn't get a chance to say it, that I was saying that I hope that people realize that people who push for polygamy, I hope that a lot of men realize how many men are going to be left out in the cold if we were to fully embrace polygamy. Yeah, because we were talking about how 80% of the women want 20% of the men. And when they mentioned, I said, and that's why monogamy works for a whole lot of people, and they don't even realize it. Because some men, I don't have an issue with polygamy, but some men who push for it, they don't realize that a lot of men are going to end up with probably one woman anyway, because most of the women are going to go after the same men. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay. So, I'm not going to make it easy for you. So I'm going to theoretically push back on it.
Okay.
So within our community, there's a significantly higher amount of women that exist by gender, right? So how possibly could somebody be left out in the cold? Are you saying that the women would be left out in the cold, or the men?
The men, because women tend to go after the same men. So let's say there's polygamy. Most women,
until they settle.
Yeah. So what I was addressing was when we were talking about the 80% of women wanting 20% of the men. And so my response to that was, that's why some people need to realize their push for polygamy is going to leave a lot of them out in the cold, if that is true. And I don't deny that. But if that is true, and we are to say that that's a fact, that most women want the same type of man, then polygamy is only going to but benefit a select few, if you understand what I'm saying. Whether it's the resources, the swag, what they look like, their charm. Every man don't have all of those things. And so if all the women are flocking to this particular type of men, how many of those are there to go around? So when I say left in the cold, I'm not talking about the woman in polygamy. No. Now, if we're talking about polyamory, that's different, or polygyny, but I'm talking about polygamy itself. That's for the men. So a lot of men will be left out in the cold, in my opinion. At least that's how I'm seeing it in my head.
So, in terms of, so how would you feel in terms of polyamory?
Well, I think polyamory would be a little bit different. I think so. I think that if that's the case, well, it might actually end up being the same way as well. But I feel like didn't you say we outnumber the men? Right? You said that, right? Yeah. Okay, right. So yeah, so a whole lot of women will probably be left out as well. In that case, because we all know, I mean, we talk about it all the time. We have what King called the undesirables for both men and women. So it's just the flip side of what I'm saying. Yes, there are going to be women who are going to be left out if that's the case. If we are to all adapt that, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it'll ever happen. I'm just saying that there are some benefits to monogamy outside of just the sex piece, right? It's allowing for enough women to go around, because trust me, all of us, I mean, not all of us, but most women are looking for the same type of men. This is why we're having these conversations in those what you call it, the high value man conversation, right? This is where people are saying, you know, this is the type of man I want. And we were talking earlier about relationships, and I was saying that a lot of people settle in relationships, like a lot, like that's just a real thing. We were talking about Jada and Will. There's a lot of people right now in relationships that their heart, they've only really loved for real once, and it's not with the person that they're presently, like currently married to. That's a real thing, but we don't talk about it because I actually don't think it should be spoken about publicly the way Jada them is doing it, you know. More, but there are people in regular relationships, not celebrity, that's actually the situation. Maybe the love of their life died, or it just didn't work out, and they move on, and people move on, and now they're married to someone, and that's not necessary. They don't love that person as deeply as they love the other person. These things are real. This is life. You're mute, chef.
Thank you. So, E Blizzy,
what's good?
what's good, bro? Do you hear what me and our warrior sister discussing right now?
Yeah, I hear her saying that, you know, polygamy or are you saying polygamy and polyamorous should be considered?
No, I'm saying that if they are considered, let's say that the Tomorrow Society says, you know, we're embracing polygamy, right? Right now, it's kind of frowned upon. Right now, monogamy is what's pushed. So let's say tomorrow that changes. I was telling Chef that I actually personally think it will leave a lot of men out in the cold if we were to state that 80% of the women actually want 20% of the man. If we are to say that's a fact, then monogamy is benefiting those 80% of men that women don't want anyway. That's what I was saying. And so he asked me about polyamory, and I was like, I feel like it will be flipped, because uh
Then
men
there would be less women available because because the 20% of the men would take up twice as many women.
no, no, that's not what I'm saying. He said if it's flipped, I would say 1 minute. Go ahead, E Black.
Oh, I've been
He needs
there.
the
I've been
password.
there.
I'm sorry, he needs the password.
I've been there, but yeah, I mean it's a tough thing, you know. I've always been like, just find whatever happiness you find, but there are things that we know that are beneficial for society. So try to get close to what's beneficial for society, and then if you're on the outliers of that social norm, then you know that might work for you.
Hmm.
The one, hey, the
I
one
say
thing we,
something. Oh, go ahead.
yeah,
Pardon me.
the one thing we didn't get to, what I was gonna say is that we kind of make the assumption that men with multiple women with multiple baby mamas, we kind of say, oh, well, they're the top 10 of our community, and I'm like, well, some lames got multiple kids too.
I don't think they're the top 10, like what we was talking about before the show. I think one of the things that I wanted to say as well, I didn't get a chance to say, is also that it's not necessarily that it's the men with children. I think it's certain qualities and certain things that those men possess, that the reason why women, like King was saying, maybe attracted to them. You know what I mean? um I don't know if, you know, I don't know. And then listening to Sherelle too. I mean, it depends on the class. It depends on the demographic we're speaking to. You know what I'm saying? The culture of that environment these people are in. All of these are factors that we kind of have to consider. But I don't necessarily think just because a guy have multiple children that's the reason why women are going after them. I think there is something that they possess, right? It could be swag, it could be that they're handsome, they're attractive, it could be anything else. I don't necessarily think it's the children. And I think that there are things that men can have that women will be willing to look over the multiple baby mamas just to be just to have that thing. You know what I mean? It could be his resources, it could be his looks. You know what? It could be something as simple as his quote unquote good hair.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
So that leads me to a question, and I'm going to start bringing a couple of folks because we got a full room down here. It leads me to the question of this: when we talk about compatibility, right? When you flowers were teenagers and 15, 16 and doing your vision and dream boards and all of that stuff, you saw something and you had an idea of something that you wanted, right? But as you grew, you evolved into a different kind of person. You know that in terms of, let's say you had 3 or 4 different relationships, just 3 or 4, you know for a fact there was one person that was not as connected to you, where you didn't connect with them chemically, cosmically, energetically, as one of the other 3 that was left over. Have you ever had a situation where you've been with one? Ignore the question; it's rhetorical. But if you ever had a situation where you were connected more to one person than the other, that means that you may have your diametrically connected key fit somewhere on this planet, right? It's a dream to find that person. But as you've gone through life and you've seen where you've been more fine-tuned, synchronized, and calibrated to a certain person where words were not necessary, where the 2 of you will be sitting in the room and you just look at each other in a room full of people and you don't have to say a word, and it's like, each of you knows what's going on, what you're saying. That true synchronicity, that's one of those things that people tend to find, and tend to look for. And if you go with a guy dates 1 girl or 2 girls or 3 girls, and he starts to recognize, wow, synchronicity is something that we want. Synchronicity is something that makes this whole thing easier. Some people will continue until they find that asynchronous person that they will want to remain with. You get what I'm saying? So I said all of that long-winded stuff to say, is it worthwhile to just settle for who's before you, or does it make sense for you to search for that dream asynchronous lover?
I'm going to speak from a woman's perspective. Most women, chef, to be honest, don't have time for that. And I think it's no. I think it's because the biological clock piece, right? And people talk about biological clocks just in reference to children, but I think women have biological clocks for, like, not biological clock, but like clocks for everything. I need to have my degree by this time. I need to be married by this time. I need to have a house by this time. We have these time frames for everything. But as far as what you're talking about, I think it's different for women, because how long how long are we searching? Because most women, if they want marriage and family and children within the confines of marriage, at some point they're just going to be like, you know what, this person is in alignment with the vision I have for myself, even though I don't connect with them on that cosmic level that you're talking about, Chef. I'm just going to go ahead and build a family with them, right? And then what can happen later in life, Chef, is that they could be sitting down at a party and end up in the living room. And that person that you're talking about, that they find that connection with, is across the room, but they're already 13 years into their marriage. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think for women, it's different. I think that we want that, but if it's taking too long for us to find it, we'll settle. Because most of us want the children. Now, if you don't want those things, then you have the rest of your life to be out there on an adventure trying to find that spirit or soul connection. But that's the minority of women. Most women actually want children and family and husband and so forth. So we don't have that type of time. That's what I mean when I say we ain't got time for that. Men, I'll let the men speak. I'm sure you guys probably might be a little different. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna be real with you. Sometimes you can, like I say, you can be with somebody that you need, but like I said, you're not necessarily with the person that you want. And sometimes you just make a balanced choice. You just got to say, hey, this person is who I need to be with. This person makes me feel, does the thing that makes me feel good. She calls me at a certain time. She cares for me. But the person I want, she ain't the woman I want. She don't do nothing like the girl I have now. So I think it's just the balance of just making sure that you make good decisions and live life without regret.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna come down, Chef, but I wanted to respond so that some others can come up. I wanted to respond to I don't know if you took a comment down, but Queen Leader. Um, yeah, in this, I'm usually the oddball out in that conversation with women, because woman is like, yeah, but you can't love them all the same. I don't really, I don't subscribe to that. Yes,
Talking about this one.
yeah, you can love more. Yes, you can love more than one person. For goodness sake, of course you can. We all have the capacity. Now you can love them for different reasons, because
All right.
people like to say, well, you can't love them the same. I don't know about not loving them the same. I think you love them for different reasons. That's all. But yes, you can love actually multiple people. It is very possible. You know what I mean? I just think a lot of us, we have a lot of discipline around how we navigate those emotions, because a lot of that has to be with the way that has to do with the way we're brought up and the way that we're socialized. But yes, of course you can. I think mostly we like to think we can. I think mostly it's women that say that. No, you can't. But I don't believe in that. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm like, come on, man. Of course you can love more than one person. Of course you can. I don't know why we think that's impossible.
Talk to me, Vic. What you think?
Can you restate the question? Because I want to make sure I got the premise correct.
Oh, damn. What was the question? Can you love? Oh, the question was, can you love more than one person?
You can definitely love more than one person. I completely agree with Sister Hanifa about that. But like she says, it's going to be for different reasons. Um, that key fit that you was talking about before, that's a very real thing, and it's very hard for anything to supersede that until your maturity level can escalate to the point where you're attracted to different things. When I was younger, I was attracted to 90% physical, you know what I mean? But now, you know what I mean, I'm halfway up the road, so I like just, man, watching a woman clean or cook, or, you know what I'm saying, when a woman fix your plate for you, shit like that I'm attracted to now. You know what I'm saying? That make me feel a certain way. So I'm like, that needle moves as a man moves through his own progression of maturity. I can't speak as far as how a woman evolves, but I imagine it would be something similar. So, can you love more than one person? Absolutely, but you'll always find a reason, I think, to lean to one more than the other.
And there's a concept that I'm gonna put in here. I'm typing it up right now. This is something I want to kind of talk to. Oh, and pardon these big ass fingers on this little keyboard.
Oh, that's good, Chef. I see where you're going with that.
That's what you said, Chef. You said, would it be better to settle with someone you know was good for you, or what was the other part of the premise? What was the other person?
Oh, you talking about earlier in the show?
Yeah, it was just a minute ago when you was asking the question. You said it was rhetorical.
Oh man, yo, when I'm getting my
okay, I got you. Yeah, you was flowing. That's a freestyle. You can't remember that.
You know, when I'm in the studio, right? It's guys I'm flowing. It's like, yo, please told me you got that.
Okay.
Sometimes I flow from streams of consciousness. You ask me something, and I'm gonna give you what I actually feel, and you know, wrapped in stuff that I know. You get me? So right now I was flowing. So, and then this conversation too, it grows tentacles. Or there's a term called monkey branching, right? That's a relationship term too we're going to talk about. But these conversations grow tentacles where, depending on how somebody feels, it'll take that conversation and open a different door of the conversation itself. But let me...
Chef, you said emotional compartmentalizing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I feel like in general, I say this all the time, and I'm sorry if my accent is coming out real strong. It's kind of late at night. That's what has happened. So I feel like men do a better job at compartmentalizing in general than women, right? And that's why I think the conversation around loving multiple people or loving more than one person, it's easier for men to understand that or to actually say yes to that than it is women. Because I like to look at it like this. Women tend to live life like an open floor plan, right? Whereby men, they are more like the house that there's a door to every room.
Right.
Right. And so when they go into one room, they shut the door and they deal with what's in that room. When they come out, when they go in the living room, they deal with what's in the living room. You understand what I'm saying? And then when they come out the living room, if they go in the bathroom, they close the door, they're dealing with what's in the bathroom. With women, everything is it's more of an open floor plan. And again, we have women who function differently. But generally speaking, for the most part, women tend to approach life more like an open floor plan. So for them, everything kind of connects to each other. Everything is right there. So to even the idea of even loving two people at the same time is hard for us to wrap our minds around it, because we are not that good at compartmentalizing the way that men do it at all. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's why, like, men could be at work. A man could come home and you ask, how was your day? And he's like, he might say it was all right, but he ain't going into too much, right? Because he's glad to be home, because now he's home and he's taking off his work hat and he wants to be in that space and in the now. For women, we'll come home and we'll start flipping shit and walking around and breathing hard, and because we had a rough day. I just think compartmentalizing emotionally, whether it's emotionally, just in general, men just do a better job at it. And I think that just has to do with our wiring, to be honest.
Got you. All right. So, Hanifa, I really appreciate all the support. And, all I can say is for folks to stay tuned. This is not the last time you hear from that warrior. She's also on Conversations with Queens. And stay tuned for some future stuff as well.
All right. Good night, you guys. I'm going to be listening.
And good night, Hanifa. I appreciate you. All right. What's good? And thank you for reminding the original question, Vic, was pertaining to the compatibility and settling, when we were talking about the key fit, keep searching for that key fit, as opposed to keeping it, just a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. You get what I'm saying? Looking for the greater thing, or sticking with what you see within proximity.
Yeah, I feel like you could compare that to people's life pursuits, just in general. So whether it's in a relationship or your dream job or occupation or whatever the case may be, people always want to reach for their highest apex, no matter, what it looks like comparatively. But when they see themselves coming up short, or that clock Hanifa was referring to, for women in specific, then, just like when you playing ball and that shot clock going down, you start eliminating options. You're saying, nope, that's too far out. Let me deal with what's around me. Nope, that's not the best move. I can't get to that right now. Now you've cornered your options. So whether you're dealing with a relationship or a job, okay, you got 3 felonies now. All of those job options are off the table. You understand? People kind of back themselves into these corners and they're forced to settle. You did so much dope. You know what I mean? Now your face is disfigured. You know what I mean? For all of the ones that like to do that blue shit, that ice and that math and them oxy 30s and them school buses and come on now. I seen you out there. So what I'm saying is, if everybody can kind of refocus on their morality and their own spirituality and find the happiness within themselves. That's why me and my sister Rel, I want to talk to her more about that. She said happiness means something has to be happening. But I personally believe that is the difference between the logic of men versus women. A lot of women need something. I can't say all, I never say all, but a lot of women need something to be happening in order to be happy. And a man, once he finds the woman and does all of the bravado and the things to win his conquest, then yeah, he want to sit down and no, life isn't exciting anymore. He want to be at home. He want to kick his feet up. He want to play the game. He want to chop it up with the boys. He don't want to go and woo you every day anymore. He don't want to take you across the country all the time. You know what I mean? To create all these new adventures. So with that said, you know what I'm saying? If I think if people can learn to make themselves happy, they would be a lot more compatible with a lot more people. That's all I got.
Okay, I can see where you're coming. What you guys feel about that? What do you think, Sherelle?
No, I think hey y'all. I think what I mean by happiness, you have to have something happening, is because that's literally what happiness is. So if you're having fun, something's happening. You're at a party, something's happening. You're on a trip, something's happening. You in love, something's happening. So as long as something good is happening, you're going to be happy. But a lot of times life is not going to always have something happen, and most days are just like, it's monotonous. It's like just come and go or whatever.
Right.
So it's like, if you're happy, right? Say you're happy, you just won the lottery, and then I come and I say, oh, your best friend just died.
Mm.
Something else just happened to change your happiness, right? So if something's good not happening, it can take you from that stage. It can take you from that stage. Now, a lot of people focus more on joy, because joy is something in your heart. Like, even when you have joy, you just have a higher learning and higher understanding that things are going to happen and life is going to come up and down. But in the end, it'll all work together for your good.
I'm pushing back now. I'm pushing back now.
Let's go,
Okay,
Steph.
push
I'm
me
pushing
back, push
back
me
now.
back.
You said that in order for you to learn, you would need that joy, right?
No, not for you to learn. I said most people look for just to have joy.
Mm-hmm.
Because joy, I think, comes from within. I think it just comes with an understanding that, I can have joy even on my bad days. Because I know that if I had enough bad days that I made it through, if I know, even if I'm on my bad day, I know this shit ain't kill me, so I'm gonna make it through. That's where my joy comes. My joy comes from, is like, it's gonna come in the morning because it's a new day. That means I survived the night. That means I survived this moment. That means nothing, this, whatever this was, it couldn't kill me. And so it wasn't sent to destroy me, which means it was sent to teach me something. So now if I'm looking at it like that, how could I be mad about it? I might not be happy because the circumstances that's happening right now aren't, that good. But I could still have that joy of understanding that, yo, I woke up, which means I'm surviving this. I'm surviving this, which means I'm going to make it to another moment of happiness. But I know that happiness comes in waves. It's not just something that's just constant. I'm gonna have my ups, I'm gonna have my downs, like a roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I meant by that.
Okay. So how do you think learning from previous failures, how do you think that plays a part?
I think if you don't learn from your failures, which I think everything that's sent to you is sent to make you stronger, it's sent to make you better. But a lot of times, if you don't learn from your previous failures, you'll keep repeating it. It's just like, it's like school, like in grade school. If you played around in first grade, you probably was gonna be in first grade next year. And if you play it around again, you're going to be in first grade again until you realize that you have to come here, pass these tests, and learn the lessons that you need to learn to advance to the next stage. They're going to constantly hold you back. And in life, it's worse because you can get stuck in the same stage. They have some people that, you met them and they was on one type of wave when they was 20, and you meet them and they 45 and they still act the same because they still
Oh,
going through the same lesson.
Mm-hmm. So I pulled something up on the screen real quick, right?
all right.
Because there was a piece that I thought we were going to be able to touch, but the conversation didn't monkey branch into that area. Learning from failure.
Mm.
We talk about it, there's 5 pieces. One is taking the risk and pay the price. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Ah.
Right. That means that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Know it's okay to fail. Really, yes, it's okay to fail. Realize experience is the best teacher. Think about this. If you do not fail in any of your endeavors, how do you learn to be better? 4, allow yourself the freedom to fail. 5, let the fear of failure help you succeed. 6, welcome failure. Now, highly successful people subscribe to that particular doctrine, right? It makes them successful, that kind of thought process. They always tell you, especially in corporate America, they tell you, fail and fail fast. Entrepreneurship, fail and fail fast. Get that shit out of the way so that you can move up. Fail at the $500 point so you don't get screwed up at the $50,000 point. Learn that lesson, right? Why? Because we say, and it's crazy, I believe that relationships that have gone bad or adverse situations within the relationships teach you lessons, vital lessons that maybe your creator needed you to learn before he placed you with the flower that was supposed to be yours. We learn more from the negative situations in life, than we do from the positive situations in life. Why? Because something that causes adverse reaction, something that causes pain, is something you will always remember. When you have pleasure and it's pleasurable, many times you tend to forget those things because pleasure, your endorphins pump out, and then you start getting a rush of dopamine. It's a high, and you tend to forget it at some point emotionally when you come down. So, do you think that the whole concept of failure should apply to being in relationships and learning how to prepare yourself for being a spouse? Sometimes for us fellas, the women that we slept with may have taught us some things that we may have perfected that we take to the next spouse or our future wife, and vice versa. You get me? So somebody unpack that for me. I'm going to hear Brave Soul.
I think that so for me, being in the military, one of the phrases that we lived by a lot of times was get off the X, right? Whenever something happens, you have to make a decision, stick with it, and go with it, right? Sometimes you're going to make a good decision. Sometimes you're going to make a bad decision, right? The goal is, like you said, failing and failing fast. The goal is, here's the situation, and these are the options that we have to get out of it. And you make a choice to get out of it, and it might work and it might not. And if it doesn't work, make the adjustments you need to for it to work, right? So failing and failing fast, get off the X, however people want to phrase it. You have to be able to take your L's and take them lightly, because, I mean, it's like, for me personally, I like warm weather. Those days of warm weather don't mean as much without those days of rain. So when you get those 3 days of rain in a row and it looks crappy, and when the sun finally comes out, you appreciate those days more. You know what I'm saying? I think that that does work exactly in what you're talking about in relationships. The problem becomes when you make a decision and you realize that this person might not be for you. A lot of people have a hard time getting out of it. So now that's where you're not learning from the mistakes. All you're doing is just living in your mistakes. You're not learning from them. You're just sitting in them. You're just taking this person who you're trying every day to fix or to make better for whatever it is, that whatever vision you may have, and you're not learning from what went wrong, right? You didn't learn how y'all's communication is not effective. You're not learning how to be intentional with your words, with your actions. You're not learning how to line up your words and your actions. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you're not lining up because you're not really learning the lessons. People that end up staying in those relationships for a long time and they're toxic, it's a lot of times it's one person pointing the finger at the other person. Well, I wouldn't have cheated on her if she wouldn't have, or I wouldn't have cheated on him if he would have just did this and stuff like that. So yeah, not learning from your mistakes is how people end up in those long relationships where it doesn't work. People end up starting businesses that don't fit. Like, not learning from your lessons is going to be exactly why you don't make it where it is that you're trying to get to. 100%.
Okay. We have somebody else who want to weigh in on that one.
Yeah,
Learning
man,
from
I totally agree with that. My first relationship that I had, I learned a lot from, but I had to leave that relationship for my own selfish reasons because I wanted to make sure that the lessons I learned from that relationship extended further. Does that make sense?
I'm thinking so. Clarify
Let me
it.
see my
This was like my 16-year-old sweetheart. You know what I mean? And we were doing good. We rocked for like 2 years, and then I just knew that in my heart that I was like, man, I don't know. I think I can do better, or I wanted to grow.
Was it toxic?
Yeah, it was very toxic.
Ah, yes. Good. There's a reason I said that.
Okay.
Now, go ahead. Do you think?
But I was just, I was a young man growing into my own, and I was just like, man, the way that she was moving was just not on my wavelength. But I knew she had a good heart, but it was just like, dang, this ain't gonna. All right, I want to see what's on the other side. So I had to get over that fear that I was giving up the possibility the person I was supposed to be with. And it was tough, but like once I made that decision, the relationship was over. So like sometimes in relationships you gotta give over that fear of saying, you know what, the person I'm with is not helping me, or I want to be able to learn from the lessons. Like I wanted to start over. I wanted to so I made sure my next relationship, I was like, I'm never gonna accept the things that I did and I failed in my first relationship. The boundaries that I set, I set them off instantly from every relationship after that. So I learned from my past failures, but I had to get over the fact that I had to leave that person. I had to get over the fact. I had to put myself in that position, and that's how it is. So, don't be afraid, but don't also throw away something that it's like fish. You only get so many that you can catch, but then if you keep throwing them back, right? If you keep throwing back in, you're gonna end up with a guppy. You're not gonna, the fish that you taking back home now that after you done spend all that time ain't gonna be, you're gonna be like, dang, I had a bigger one than this.
I have a random question based on what we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it necessary for dating in high school?
See, now I have a kid.
When you say necessary, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so I was having a conversation with someone about my idea of dating for my oldest child will be in middle school next year, right? So the conversation was, do I think that it's necessary for her to be dating in high school? And I said no, because I feel as though, for one, we all know that in high school, we're not really in a place, nobody really knows their self for real to be a stable partner to someone when they're in high school. I just feel like there's so much developing we have to do on our own still while we're in high school to be a compatible partner, for one. And then for two, I think that high school puts a warped idea on what a relationship is, right? So with that, I was saying that's why my idea of my daughter dating in high school, I felt like was unnecessary. Now, I definitely see in the chat, like, it happens, of course, like it's a human thing. It's going to happen. But I just speak to, is it necessary? Like, some parents are pretty much grooming their children through high school on how to talk to girls and all of that. I'm not saying that, as a father, I'm not saying that I don't give my son, like, talk to him and tell him how he should, talk to women and everything like that. I just, is it necessary?
Necessary. Let me see something real quick.
I would just off the bat, yes, I do think it's necessary.
I don't think it's necessary.
You said
but
necessary.
I think it's gonna happen
in high school.
In high school,
dating in high school.
Yeah, my daughter's in high school.
Yeah, I mean, if you got a girl, she's probably gonna say no. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it would go back to what you say: fail and fail fast. Here's the learning grounds where you can and it's not necessarily gonna make you look a certain way. It is still puppy love at this age. You can still, you know what I'm saying, make some of those childish mistakes that you wouldn't necessarily have taken as far as an adult.
And so I definitely want to admit that I don't have the common ideal, because my son, I feel like it's the same thing for him. Because if we're talking about my son, my idea for him in high school, I need you to take these next 4 years, To learn what you can, we have to do what we can to figure out what your craft is going to be. What is your talent? What's your skill? What's your trade going to be? These 4 years, I need you to figure that out, because once you graduate high school, now we have to determine if it's college. Are you going to trade school? Are you starting your own business? So we, as
You
men, we
gonna
all
send them to an
know
all
how.
boys? You gonna send them to an all boys school then?
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
you might as well.
No, no, no. I don't think that I think that would be more detrimental than anything. I'm not saying, because that's where the hard part is, because the interaction with the other sex is important. I need you to know how to be able to speak to a woman. I need you to be able to know how having a conversation with a man when it gets aggressive is going to be different than when you're talking to a female and it gets aggressive. How you go about approaching those conversations are going to be different, right? So I need you to understand those things. It's just, especially for my son, like for him, I know how easy at that age it is to get lost in this girl, in this relationship, and start skipping football practice, or not wanting to go to basketball camp, or being late to class, or skipping on homework and stuff like that, because now you're focused on trying to text this girl every day, especially now with cell phones, the texting and the tweeting and the Snapchatting and all of that. Like, it's easy for that distraction to come and get taken off of your mission.
Yeah,
Um,
man. Yeah, man. Go ahead, Cheryl. I'm sorry. I see you trying to
Yeah,
get
go ahead,
in.
mama.
okay, so I don't think it's necessarily for people to date in high school. I think over time, yeah, we've all done it and we've created this norm. But I think a lot of stuff that we create that's normal is really just how the people who really run the world has structured us the society to be. So I never dated in high school. I wasn't allowed to date in high school. I started dating when I was 21. I was finished college. So I really didn't go through a lot of things that a lot of different other females went through, and I came out stronger because of it, especially being from the environment that I've been in. I feel like if we keep on romanticizing relationships and making it about, oh, we just need to love and connect, like, no, people need to be in relationships because they're trying to build something. What the hell are you building when you're a kid? You don't have resources. You going home to your mama house. You going home to your mama house. So you're just friends. Okay, you can have guy friends, you can have girlfriends, you can interact with people, but why do you need to take that to relationship status? Because my little niece asked me, to talk to her mom because I'm like, I'm the best auntie because I'm just an auntie. So it's like, talk to her mom about making it seem like she could date at 14 or trying to lower the standard. What's a good age? And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? Are you ready for sex? Are you ready to kiss boys? Because when you get into relationships with boys in middle school and in high school, this is what they want. So it's not just to say, do you want your children dating? Because they can have friends. We all have guy friends. We all have girlfriends. We go to the
That's
same
the right
school.
question.
We're going to interact together. The real question is, are you ready for your teenagers who are in high school to start having sex?
Sex.
And are we ready for the consequences that's going to come up with it? Because sex is a real adult thing that's going to create adult emotions. He's gonna start feeling like a man. She's gonna start feeling like a woman. This could produce STDs and this can produce children. And do they really want? And even just the mental things that sex does, the mental connection and physical connections that you get from having sex with somebody. Should they be focused on this when they have to go to school? When they need to step into the real world and learn adulthood? When they need to go to college? When they have things that they need to do in life? Should they be focused on a relationship at the time? I don't necessarily think that romantic relationships should be important. And I feel like romance is good. We can do romantic, we can do love, but I think we need to start figuring is that if we're really trying to get into a marriage or we're really trying to build something, at the end of the day, we have to have tools. I cannot expect somebody with no tools to build me a house. I need you to go get those tools. So what men and women should, what little girls and little boys should be focused on is really, learning how to build, learning how to, communicate, learning what they want out of life. And I feel so bamboozled. As much as I love the people that came before me, I love my elders. They really did not prepare us. They was not telling us how to do things financially, which type of degrees we should be going for, what was realistic for us, what type of men we should date, what type of women should we date, when should we date? Because when I feel like when you should date, you should be 100% understanding of who you are, what you want out of life, and you should really have a good sense of intentions on what you want, because somebody above you has structured you and showed you the blueprint on how to have a successful life. A lot of times we just bump in our heads, and then you looking around and the black community is filled with a bunch of broken homes, a bunch of baby daddy baby mama drama, because we were so focused on loving and hunching and being cute and dressing alike, because that's what society is telling you. Relationships is about cute pictures on Instagram.
So society ain't telling Mexican kids and Asian kids and white kids we're the only community.
No, man, these Mexican. I went to school in Texas after Katrina.
Okay.
So Mexicans have did the same rates of teenage pregnancy, if not more, just as much as us. The only difference is a lot of Mexicans aren't documented. But if you come to Texas, if you live in areas where a bunch of Mexicans live, you will know. I mean, they used to have pregnancy packs in school. It was
I bet
always
they get married.
10, 15 girls in middle school. These girls was in sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, pregnant.
My point is that you made a generalization that the black culture or the black familyhood is derived based on the fact that we teach dating in high school, and dating in high school has always been, this is what has always been. We've always, like, as human society, we got married at 16. This was our.
Okay, it's not about them. I just addressed the black community because we all black here.
Okay, so
Let me
what
go a
I'm
little
trying.
further down the rabbit hole with y'all real quick. I want to ask one more question on the same topic. Sherelle, you said that when you were in school, you weren't allowed to date. So I can, you say you weren't allowed. So I assume that it wasn't your decision not to date. What gave you the discipline to adhere to that advice from whoever gave it to you?
I
Because
respected my father.
I think that's the
I
question.
mean,
Really,
I respected my father because he was a respectable man. My daddy was not a he wasn't the type of man that wavered. I knew there was always going to be consequences behind. I used to be punished for falling asleep in church. I could only imagine what the hell would have happened to me for coming home pregnant, or my dad finding out. And a lot of things is because my dad loved me, nurtured me, and taught me so much, and I respected him so much. A lot of me never wanted to disappoint him. And the thing
was he
about
in the
it
house?
was, because I know that this man loves me and this man is putting me in this direction, he's not telling me. And my daddy will always tell me, I'm not telling you nothing to hurt you. My daddy's 45 years my senior. My daddy is 45 years older than me. How can I sit here knowing that this man knows way more than me and not take his advice? If he's telling me I need to be focused on one thing, and this is what I'm saying. My dad raised all of his kids in the projects. All of his kids are in the hood. And it's not to say that, oh, we are the best, we scientists or nothing like that. But none of his kids are dead. None of his sons are fruity. None of his daughters are fruity. All my sisters have been married.
Ooh, we got one on
You know,
that. You got,
Oh
we
shit!
what I'm
time out.
saying? All of
We
my sisters have.
we got listen. You understand. We got to make sure that
Right.
we do it
I'm just
clean.
saying, he just
Minding
my
my
daddy just
business.
raised real strong. My brothers are real strong men. They're real strong men. They were real intentional. They married they're high school sweethearts, and they bout their kids. They take care of their kids. They building a successful life. We all have successful careers. None of us have ever been to jail. Like we're all healthy adults.
Do
Like
you
none of us
attribute
are
that?
perfect. But that's 14 kids. That's results. That's 14 kids in a neighborhood where majority of the kids are selling drugs, getting pregnant young, and dying. And
So, what
that's
do
what
you
was going
attribute
on around
that
us.
success to of your family versus the people around you? What would you say is the biggest catalyst that kept y'all all straight?
We had a strong father. We had a
Was
strong
he in the
father.
house?
And my father was a strong man. And every family that I know, coming, because I came up on a block where all the families, we came from a black neighborhood where the businesses, the stores, the houses, we was connected with that. It's black families and black men that own it. And these black men that I know, these pillars in my community, which is why I never have grievances for black men, but I always have grievances for people that make excuses, because I know black men from the hood. And I know that my neighborhood stays safe. I know that they made sure that drug dealers was only selling drugs on this street, because this particular street over, all the kids are over here. So no drama, no drugs are being sold, no killings, no shootings, and nothing is happening here. So we're gonna keep the kids because they're gonna run up and down the street, and we're gonna keep them and adults and what y'all want to do over here. And it was black men. These black men are still the pillars of my same community. They could, if y'all ever come to New Orleans, I could still bring y'all and meet y'all. And these are the grandfathers and the fathers of our community. These black men being strong and being stern on their principles and understanding life in general and how people should move, that benefited us so much farther. But the people who didn't really have that definitely went into different directions.
So, question for you, Sherelle. So, I just want to make sure I'm on the same page. Well, so you tell me, because what age do you feel is appropriate?
Good question.
I know you said you didn't do anything until 21, but I'm asking you, what age do you feel is appropriate?
To be honest, I think
what age, and then so that early enough
I think at least
socially awkward.
I think at least 18. I think everybody should wait to at least adult age. And I feel like some people should wait longer. Like, I don't know. I'm just different with it. But I still don't. I feel like people shouldn't even have kids until maybe after 25. And I'm not saying that it didn't work back in the day. What I'm saying is society has changed. We do know that, our brains don't fully develop until age 25. We do know that inflation is going up like crazy. So milk is not 25 cents anymore.
Look what Quantum Love put. She because remember you said maybe it should not even be an age, right?
No, I didn't say maybe it shouldn't be an age. I'm saying like,
because you were saying that maybe at 18 for some people, because
and some older, but I just don't think that dating young, especially with no guidance, I don't necessarily think it'll always blossom into a beautiful thing. Because I feel like this, right? Okay, I do my life at a 10-year plan. Okay, how can you tell me something at 18 when this is your first year being an adult? They call 10 and 11 your pre-teenage years, and then you go through your teenage years. Okay, so if you're 18, 10 years ago, you was 8. What can you tell me about life? Now you turned 28 10 years ago. You've been an adult for 10 years. You may know a little something. You might not know as much as the people that are older than you, but now you know a little something. How much experience do you really have into being an adult? Right. And a lot of times you want to do adult things, make adult decisions like having sex and creating families, but are you an adult?
So I'm going to ask you this question.
You create toxic environments.
I got to bring you back to this. I got to bring you back to this though, because I get what you're saying. What I'm getting at in the Quantum Love, she pretty much is saying that she said maturity, not age.
Right.
So now, maturity, not age. I thought you were bending that corner when you said, well, 18 for some. Right. Because once you said 18 for some, that's why I said the maturity thing. It gave me the idea, well, some people don't mature at the same rate as others. Right.
Well, I said 18 because at 18, you're an adult. Right. So nobody can tell you what to do. So at 18, that's fair enough. That's when you can't tell your children what to do. But
sure, in families where they support that child into college, like even within my family, Caribbean family, you're really not psychologically emancipated till 22 till you graduate college.
Right, and that's why I said it started at 18, because they have some parents that's like, at 18, you're getting the hell out of my house. You see what I'm saying? So But I do feel like as long as you're a child, stay a child. I think that's the number one thing that benefited me growing up where I grew up,
Does that
for me
work
not
though?
to end up as a product of my environment, because I always wanted to be a child.
I
Anytime I
got
was in an environment where all the 13-year-olds wanted to be grown and do grown up stuff, I wanted to find the 13-year-olds who wanted to do 13-year-old shit. I always wanted to be a child. You only get a small amount of time to be a kid. Cherish that. Why are we growing up so fast? Life gonna hit you hard enough.
All
So
right.
everybody.
at
So
18, I
let's do
feel like,
this.
oh, go.
We gotta do this because one thing that we do is we do a lot of unpacking, right?
Right.
But kicking it with the homie Vic. One thing, and I learned from everybody, and you know what I mean. He learned from me, I learned from him as well. It's reciprocal. Let's talk action step.
Yeah.
Let's talk an action step.
I got a question that'll head to the action step.
Yeah, pass you the alley. Go ahead.
Okay. Got it. I have a question for all the ladies that are in the sound of my voice. Should the man be older than the woman in a relationship? And if so, how much?
I don't think so. And I do agree with Quantum. I think that age and wisdom don't come at the same time. I think they think some people mature enough, but I feel like you should be an adult. So if you feel like you're a mature adult at 18, you can make some decisions. But if you need to wait longer, go ahead and wait longer. You see what I'm saying? So I don't feel like the man should be older, because I do feel like we can experience life together. And I feel like sometimes when we don't experience life together, that puts a man at an advantage over the woman. And I think that majority of men like to be advantaged over the woman. They don't really want to grow with people because they don't really want to ever feel comfortable enough with people. So I feel like if you can be molded and you can be young, you can find somebody your age. Y'all can go to college. I've seen people graduate from high school together, go to college together, get married. They're doctors. They both finished their degrees together. They got married. They bought houses together, and they live good lives. So it's nothing wrong with growing with somebody. That's what I would want, to grow with somebody. But I just feel like the maturity level has to be the same. The goal has to be the same. Don't just be with somebody you're not equally yoked with, because I don't necessarily think that, oh, I'm just going to go get a man that's 45. Obviously, he's going to know more. No, because he can be a 45-year-old fool. I'm 27 and I know the same people that's been drinking beer outside the store on the corner since I was 7. For 20 years, they've been in the same spot. So they didn't necessarily change just because they got older. You see what I'm saying?
I hear you, mama.
In terms of a man that's actually doing what he's like, actually making his progressions and doing what he's supposed to do, right? Generally speaking, in order for him to be able to do what he is responsible for as the man, which is to protect and to provide, most times or not, in order for him to actually be able to do that, he's gonna have to be older. And of course I'm speaking generally here because everybody's gonna their preference and everything, all of that. But I think that it works out for a man generally to end up being older than his partner a lot of times, because he's going to have to take a little extra time to gain a little different experience than what a woman is necessarily looking for, right? I do think that age and maturity do come at different levels, because there are some men that are able to do things at 21 that other men still need a couple years to be able to do in terms of maturity and decision making. So I just think that by default, based on what men are looking to accomplish in their life, they end up finding a younger partner because they probably do want to grow together. There are things that a younger woman hasn't experienced that he may not have been experienced yet because he's been focused on doing what he needs to do. So they still have an opportunity to grow together even if he is older than her.
I think the only issue I have with that is that I know that it's kind of pushed for like just like 45-year-olds to get 20-year-olds, and I feel like it's kind of sick. And only just it's the way I
not
look
though.
at it.
Now I gotta no. Now I got
Because
to
I
push
feel
back on
like
you. I gotta push
no, but
back
I
on
feel
you.
like
You're the
sometimes
chef.
Now I gotta
I
push
feel
back
like
on you.
sometimes 20-year-old guys 20-year-old guys run through women at 20. They run through the women that are their age. They smash, dash, pass, get them pregnant, leave, have fun with those women. At 45, when they're ready to settle down, they don't want those same class of women that they've broken down. They
But that
want their
doesn't.
daughters. They want their
Want a
daughters. And
brand
that's
new one.
No.
crazy.
So let me wait. I gotta stop you on this one now, because it's generalizations you're making right now, right? First things first. There's a rule called. Some have the half plus 5 rule. Some have the half plus 7 rule. Anybody wants to Google it? Half plus
7.
5 or half plus 7. There's 2 of them, right? A 7 rule means that it would make sense for a man to marry a woman at the age, half his age, plus 7 years. So if he's 50, it would be 25 plus 7, which would be 32. If he's 40, it would be 20 plus 7, which is 27. Why? Men come into their own. Men typically, and at a higher rate, we hit our financial stride once we get into our 40s and into our 50s in terms of the critical peak, right? So in order to provide, provision and protection for the woman, and also be able to enjoy the benefits, of your woman as well, the recommendation would be half plus 7. But just because, like, in terms of the way that you're looking at it, you're like, well, he's going to be running through all of these girls, and then when he gets 45,
He want their daughters.
he wants their daughters.
Yeah, because just think about it. If you were 20 and 20 years from now, you're dating a new class of 20-year-olds, who are their mothers? The same women you were with. Because 20 years ago, those women were having kids. Those are the women.
How old are you?
Like,
How old are you?
I'm 27.
How many kids you got?
None.
All right, so what you talking about?
My thing is this.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying it's like by the time I'm 40, my child will probably maybe be. I'm not having kids. That's different. But I feel like
they
this.
just ain't catch you slipping yet.
I wouldn't want to. Nobody's gonna catch me slipping. I feel like this. I don't want to date somebody who's old enough to be my father.
What about 7 years?
That's that. Some
How about,
people
would you date somebody 34?
7 years. Could you have me at 7?
Huh?
No. Like you couldn't.
Would
You
you
couldn't
date
be my
somebody
father. At
34?
7. You're not old enough to be my father if you're just 7 years older than me. But if you're 18 years, 20 years, 25, 30 years older than me,
so what number makes it nasty?
Right.
If you have kids my age, it's nasty.
So
wait. If I had
if
I'm 32 years old and I had my first child at 16, I can't date nobody. Basically, I'm stuck at 18. That number is just confusing.
It's confusing. It's like this. I just feel like, especially when it's in close proximity. If you seen me grow up in Pampers and diapers, and you watch me go to elementary school, and then I turn 20, and all of a sudden you want to marry me.
How you feel about my man that married his goddaughter?
That's sick.
Okay.
And it touched me even worse because my nephew was in a romantic relationship for 10 years with his nanny. And my sister was sending her teenage son to live with this woman for the summer, thinking that she can trust her as her friend. And when my nephew turned 18, he was in a romantic relationship with a woman who was supposed to be his mother if his mother died. That shit is sick.
Did he love her?
What's love got to do?
Everything.
So you don't prefer older men then?
I really hate the concept of love, because the people who taught you love, they did not teach you the real definition of love.
Question
They
for you.
didn't. People
So
teach you
watch this, man.
love is pain, and love means.
What makes you think that your version of the love Bible is better than mine? What makes your Jesus better than mine?
Okay.
It's not about Jesus. It's about
I was making a joke.
No,
White Jesus out. Get that white Jesus out of here.
But you told me we learned the wrong way, so I'm saying
it's about this.
Makes you your way the better way.
It's about this. A lot of times people make love, and then they put love, and they use love as leverage. The L in their love is leverage.
Oh, just a word.
The L in love is leverage. So a lot of times the people who taught you love didn't love you, because guess what? The people that tell you that they love you, they hurt you, they stole from you, they lied to you, they belittled you, they beat you, they did all these other things. Like, that's crazy. Like, you know how many people can still sit in a room with people that used to assault them when they was kids, because it's love, it's family.
I got a question for you.
That's crazy.
So I got a question for you. Do you believe that personal experience and personal trauma can have an impact on what we learn and how we learn?
Of course.
Do you believe that your ideology, and we debating here, you feel me? Do you believe that, or can you admit that your ideology is somehow being skewed or impacted by your previous personal trauma or experiences?
No.
So you don't think?
I mean, I don't necessarily.
I feel like so you're saying your opinion is not based on any of the shit you went through in your life?
No, because I just think that I look at the world as a big escape. I mean, just because I didn't go through something, it doesn't mean I can't sit here and be like, oh, all Black fathers are great because my Black father was great. Because now I'm dismissing what everybody else went through. So it's like I still have to look at reality, and I have to look at the numbers, and I have to look at the surroundings and the bigger picture of what's going on. I'm a princess. I don't get my heart broken. I don't even look at things the way other people look at things. So I don't necessarily go through the same situations that other people went through. I kind of get what I want and get my way. And if I don't get my way, I'm just gonna move around.
I'm gonna toss something at you real quick. Not throwing nothing, but watch this. I'm gonna make a statement, and I want you to react however you react, right? Sherelle, when you meet that dude, your key fit, I got hope for you. When you meet that dude, your specific key fit, that's going to be a paradigm shift. And you may end up wanting to have his child. And at that time, you will learn about the love that you were saying that we learned wrong. You are a practical soldier. Remember, you are the warrior class, but you have not put down the gauntlet yet. You get what I'm saying? But at some point, you are actually going to be the one of the Ruth finding her Boaz, because you ain't settling for shit. But when it happens, you're going to be like, that motherfucker chef, man, that son of a bitch told me that shit.
Everybody says that.
You know what I'm saying?
I think everybody says that, but I don't think people slip. I feel like sometimes people feel like you're going to slip up or you're going to fall in love. Falling hurts. There is no time you've ever slipped and fell, and that shit didn't bust your ass.
So you're looking at it negatively then?
No, I just don't feel like people should fall in love. I feel like people should grow in love. I feel like love should be grown over time. I don't want to fall. I don't want to be bamboozled. I don't want to be tripped up and slipped up and fall into some shit that's going to hurt.
I'm not psychoanalyzing you. I'm not psychoanalyzing you, but it seems as though you are trying not to be vulnerable.
Right.
You're fortifying your defenses. You get what I'm saying? You're fortifying your defenses, and you're looking at love as some sort of victim drug, that like a roofie. You get when you're looking at love like a roofie. Oh man, I get that shit. I'm knocked out, and anything happen like a quaalude. You get what I'm saying?
Kind of like a quaalude.
Love is
Right.
love is an emotion, but love is also a tool. People gonna use it for good. People gonna use it for bad. But love.
Fear is too.
Love in the purest tradition is love is obedience. Love is obedience. If you love someone, you have some type of obedience. You yield. So to love God is to be obedient to God. That's in the purest form. What love should truly mean is just love means obedience. You submit your will because you love someone. You're obedient to them, and that's how you show your love. That's the action of love. The only way love can be shown in action is obedience.
But who's ever 100% obedient? We're never 100% obedient to our children. We're never 100% obedient to our diet, to our religion.
Or to ourselves.
Say it again.
Or to ourselves.
No, yes, exactly. So if that's going to be the case, then
that's why I said things shouldn't be built off love, because it's shifting. Love is a shifting emotion.
So you don't see, would you say that you don't see how love can be part of a foundation in order to be able to maneuver through the wave of life?
No, I think that people just used to grow into love. Like, okay, my grandparents came from the class where they were successfully married. Both of my grandmothers was married at 15. My grandfathers were pretty much close to 30 when they married those women. I'm pretty sure that my grandmothers wasn't in love at 15 with some 30-year-old man, but this man could provide for them. This man could protect them. This man could put them in a house. This man could give them a family. And over time, she has children with this man. She respects this man. She is obedient to this man. And that's how she shows her love for him. And that's how marriages used to be successful, because they wasn't wait. If you was a virgin, most men feel like they can't even be in love unless they have sex.
So do you feel like that's a philosophy we need to be carrying right now?
Huh?
Do you feel like that is a philosophy that we need to be adjusting society to right now? Is that what we need to be going back to? Is that what you're saying?
No, this is my thing. I don't necessarily. Now, if you can do it, because like we know that in some cultures across the world, they still do it. You can't just read a woman and think you're going to take her down. You still have to go to her father. You have to let her father know what type of man you is and what you have and what you have to be able to support his daughter. Because women understand that we're a couple of generations removed from women who could not buy a house by themselves. Women could not just move and be independent and I got my own. No, you used to live with your daddy, and a man had to come prove to your daddy that he was man enough to be able to take care of you. And then if he could prove to your daddy and you could see yourself being with that man, your daddy allowed you to marry that man and you became to be with that man. But that's a way of the past. But we're not going to have the same success as they had in the past, because that's how they move. And in Middle Eastern countries, they still move that way. And their divorce rate is almost non-existent because they do not marry because of love.
So here's what I'll say. I think that the danger that you speak of love, I think that's speaking on an extreme scale of love. And on the opposite end of that, being afraid of love is also just as damaging as everything it is that you're speaking about. Being afraid to fall in love is going to prevent you from being able to grow and understand someone and fall in love and all of that. Because if you're afraid of love, you're not going to put yourself in a position to want to receive it. So all of the fear that gets deflected, there's just no way to receive, to grow, to fall in love, to grow in love, to sleep in love. There's just no way for that to come in. And if all you're projecting is the fear of love.
I don't think people should fear love. I just don't think they should fall in. I think you should grow into it. And I think when you grow into love, it's just a more realistic look on love. Because if you got to take the romanticism of love Love you think is butterflies and candy and cotton candy and all of that and roses and trips to Paris. That's love. Yay. No. Love is hard. Love is that stuff. Love is strong. Love cannot be broken. And the thing about it is a lot of times since we want to romanticize love, we feel like because the person loves me, they got to constantly keep me happy. Because the person loves me, they got to constantly do what I say or give me what I want. Or you must gonna do what I say. You can't tell me no. You love me, right? But love is discipline. Love is order. Love is obedience. Love, I can love you for who you are. I can love you and still discipline you. I can love you and still correct you. I can love you and still tell you what's right from wrong. But a lot of times we don't fall in love. We fall in lust. We fall in admiration. We fall in flittery. We like the glitter. We like the glam. Oh, she's pretty. She does this sexually. I like the way she smiles. I like the way he makes my butterfly. Like butterflies is not getting you 60 years to marriage.
See,
Can I give you
and
some
to me,
pushback?
I'm gonna ask a question. Vic, you gonna take it? I gotta step away for like 2 minutes, right? I'm gonna just ask that question of but ask the question after you say what you were saying, Vic. So my question for you is really for you to talk to the panel and them. What do you feel your purpose, not so much as a woman, but as a sentient being on this planet? What do you feel your purpose is?
Okay,
Remember, I'm not judging you because I'm
right.
just I'm playing,
My purpose
and I'll be right back.
on this earth is to make this place a better place, to shine my light in whatever way I can to try to make the right steps and be a lesson and be a light to the next person. So I just feel like I'm here to make the world a better place. I'm here to shine my light. I'm here to help where I can help. And that's it. That's what my journey is for. My journey is to teach somebody else the lesson. My journey is to show somebody else the way or improve somebody else's life, because I may just be one person, but it's a million people looking up to me. I may not be a mother, but I have over 100 nieces and nephews, and I know they look up to me. I know my little cousins look up to me. I know that I've shown so many people that you don't have to sell drugs. You don't have to get this life. You don't have to, and young men that I've been able to help them get their CDLs and help them make drug dealer money by doing something legit and showing them. And I teach my nieces and nephews, and I teach them, you don't have to be nobody because that's who your mother and your father is. You don't have to be nothing because this is what you see. You can always be smarter. You can always strive. You don't have to depend. You got yourself. You get up and you're gonna get guaranteed what you work for every day. Never give up. Work for something good. Keep on working. Don't ever think that what you come from makes you who you are. You make you who you are. And before there was any religion, any book, or anybody that told you who you needed to believe in, you had yourself. And your creator created you. Your creator is within you. You don't need nothing to tell you. You tap in with your source, you tap in with your creator, and you give light to this world. You give positiveness to this world. And
Hey,
that's
Cheryl.
your whole purpose.
Hey,
That's what I feel
Cheryl.
like my purpose is.
Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. Let me
Uh-huh.
ask you
I'm listening.
this. I've always put it to in a way that, and let me put it to you like this. In the first two lines or the first paragraph of your obituary, what are usually there? What is usually there?
I guess your I don't know, your kids. I
He
don't know.
always loved God.
I'm
Drop some
Right?
science.
I'm gonna read a guy's obituary. I don't know what he's done. I just picked a random one, right?
Okay.
84 years old, passed November 1st, 2021. He was born November 13th, 1936 in Edenton, North Carolina to late Willie and Carrie Brown. He lives to cherish his memory. His wife, Ellen Brown, son, James W. Brown Jr., daughter, Deborah Brown, brother, Richard Brown, and a host of other family, relatives, and friends. Funeral, uh, and that's pretty much it. It didn't mention anything about how much money you made, how many people you affected, organizations you started. It was purely about the human relationships that you created and were involved in.
Okay.
So my point to you, Cheryl, is that you know I get it, I get it, but we're trying to show you a little bit of we're trying to show you what grace and love have to do with each other, and
I
what
think I think that
I get
you're
it, I
coming
get
from
it.
a religious standpoint,
I'm
though.
not coming from a religious standpoint. I didn't even see what religion this dude was.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that it's just like
I can go
I
through the
know that
whole.
y'all want me to say, "Oh, my purpose is to be somebody's wife and have kids." Like,
No, nobody know what you say. Then
nah,
please.
No, nobody's saying that. We're
Remember
like,
this.
saying
This is you remember. I'm the stuff that I'm throwing. These are questions because guess what? Marriage is not for everyone. There's one thing, and I'll be saying this a lot in terms of this YouTube thing. I create paradigm shifts and I create perspectives opposite to the present thought process that you currently have. So what it is, once you articulated the way that you where you are on the spectrum, all I'm doing is talking to you about the diametrically opposed area on the spectrum that you don't mess with. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. There's
I
people
don't
who
know.
there's people whose purpose is not to procreate and get married. There's people whose purpose is almost what you stated to minister to others. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I totally and some of them may be more impactful to the world as an individual without a child. You know, Mother Teresa. Okay, she came from a wealthy family. She came from a wealthy family and rejected that money and to you know give service and minister to people. So I get it. I get it 100%. I just don't want you to think because we rock with you. I don't want you to think that anybody's judging you. What it is, your stance is a strong stance, and you're standing on your square. So all it is like, yo, I'm looking at somebody with that stance. So I'm just throwing questions just to see how you feel about it.
Right.
You get what I'm
But
saying?
even but like
Hey,
to think about what E Black is saying, like I understand they gonna put my mom and my daddy in there. Cause I, you know what I'm saying? I have parents. They're gonna say, okay. But this is my thing. I don't even want a regular funeral. I don't. I don't want to be in somebody's church. I don't want no pastor talking about this and like you don't know me.
What
Like
you want to do?
I literally just want a bunch of pictures of me. I want everything to be pink because that's my favorite color. And I want the people that really love me, my family, my siblings, my nieces and my nephews, especially because you know what I'm saying? I'm really close to the kids in my family, my friends, my cousins, my brothers and sisters. I have a huge family. So it's not like I don't love people. I love love. I'm the most loving, caring, giving person to anybody that I know. Like I said, if you want to know if I'm a good person, ask my enemies. Ask the people who aren't in my circle no more. The sacrifices and the things that I've done for them. My enemies can't even speak bad about me. They just know that we've severed ties for whatever reason, but they would never even say that I'm just this tore up person. So it's like I don't even necessarily want a traditional obituary or traditional because I just feel like a lot of that stuff is tradition. And I know that there was certain people like, you know what I'm saying? They grew up and they was doing this, never went to church. And it's like as soon as we have a funeral, we're in the church, some pastor that never knew him talking about he was baptized when he was 6. And it just be like, I'd be over it. So I don't want that. I just want a venue with a bunch of pictures of me and I want everybody laughing and joking because I'm top 3 funniest people. If I'm in your life, I'm top 3 funniest. So it's like I want everybody laughing. Just like
Hey,
my brother-in-law just had his funeral, and I had everybody laughing at his funeral when I got up to speak because his life was full of joy. His life was full of laughter. Like while we sitting here crying, like we gonna miss him, but we should be grateful for the time that God even gave us to experience his light. But his light gotta move on. We don't get to hold on to anybody. So I was born, this light flickered with my mom and my dad, and the chances is, boom, they got me. So I'm gonna shine my light, be good to everybody, pass on my knowledge, try to teach what I can teach, put love where I can love, and that's gonna fulfill me. I'm not saying it should fulfill the next person, but I feel like that should fulfill me. I know a lot of people just feel like I just want to leave a legacy because I want to have children or whatever. But there's so many people that we know and we love, and we don't even think about their kids. We don't know what their kids. We don't know what Michael Jackson kids doing. We don't know
Terrell,
what Martin Luther King kids doing right now. We're not even focused on them, but they were still great people in the legacy that they left because they touched many people's lives.
Got you, Vic. Let me see what you're saying right now. You sound like you're trying to jump in.
yeah. I wanted to ask, put it like this. I wanted to offer two other perspectives that my sister Rel may or may not have considered. Um, and by all means, like you say, it's no judgment or anything like that. I just want you to, I'm not even trying to change your mind on anything. I just want you to see it if you don't see it. Now, I'll start the last one first. I noticed while you were talking that when you start talking about what kind of funeral you wanted, you were very excited. It sounded like a woman describing her wedding, and like you got it all planned out. And I think that's dope. People who think that far ahead, but keeping in mind that you feel as gloomy about love in particular as you do, you know what I mean? It seems like a dark space to be in. So the other thing I wanted to offer was that when you said that a lot of people are going off of lust or whatever, and that you should be building your foundation off of something solid. Now I agree that you should build your foundation on something solid, but I do understand that most relationships are going to start from attraction, and generally it's going to be a physical attraction. So no matter how righteous you are or focused you are or anything like that, it's going to be your physical senses that alert you to people around you. So when you initiate a relationship, it may be for physical reasons, but once you vet that person and see that, yeah, they are a good person, I think you can be in love with a person because of initially, because of how you feel about how they look. And that's generally going to be in your youth. But then you create a relationship with that person, you create a child with that person, and now you love them because of how they take care of your children, how they protect or nurture your family. Then you get old and your kids are gone. And you got medicine that you need to take and things you need to keep up with and things you forget. And now that person is the person that you bounce all your ideas off, and they make sure you take your medicine, and they make sure they got your sticks covered at all times. And now that's the person you grow old with, and you love them for a different reason at that time. I think love matures, love changes, it evolves. So it doesn't really matter how it started. Is it genuine, and is it with a person that you're compatible with?
Yeah, but I think what you was explaining was my definition of growing into love. You're growing into love because I didn't fall in love or slip in love or trip in love. I was growing into love with you. I accepted the fact that we're young and I'm going to go grow in every stage that you change. I'm going to love you because love has different dynamics to it. It has different dimensions to it. So I'm going to love you as the guy that's going to take care of me and provide for me and marry me. Then I'm going to love you for being a father to my kids. And I'm going to love you for being a grandfather to my grandkids. And I'm going to love you when you're old and you're sick. And I'm going to want to change your diapers. You know what I'm saying? I feel like those type of people who was really not romanticizing love, but really knew that they had a duty to each other. Because when you sign up for marriage and you're saying, I have a duty to you, I'm going to be here for better or for worse. I'm going to grow with you through that do us part. I'm going to love you. And I know things are going to get hard. I know things are going to change. I know that we're going to evolve and things are going to happen, but I'm committed first. I'm devoted first. I'm this first and committed to no matter what goes on through life, we're going to make
Hold
it
on,
to
you
the
starting to
goal.
sound like a traditional woman now.
Like
Right.
my grandma,
So,
even like
yeah,
my
I
grandma
gotta
died.
ask you.
They want to be with each
I
other.
gotta ask you though, Sherelle. So, and I get what you're saying, and I totally understand. So I see the part you're talking about, the potential things that, you know, opportunities you may have. So my question is, because I think it was Queen Nita, she asked, it's two things. I'm going to ask her question because she asked it a few times. And my question, her question was, have you ever been in love before? And then my question is, the point that you just explained just now, how do you get to that point? Like, because if you don't do the customary fall in love kind of stuff, so how would you get from point A of meeting this person to that point of that dutiful love? Like, how does it
Yes, I have been in love. I had 3 relationships in my life. It was brief, all of it. Started dating when I was 20. I guess it was a real relationship by 21. So I was a virgin until I was 21. So I guess all the relationships before that, like, was just like my dog, my friend, or whatever. It wasn't really committed or whatever. So I have 3 people in my life. Like I say, the first person was a mistake. We didn't really love each other. Things was bad. And, you know, he taught me a lot. Like, he was the devil. But he taught me so much because I was so green about relationships
That
and a
was your
lot of
first
stuff.
that you were describing? Your
Yeah.
first?
So yeah. So he was really the devil. Like, so, you know, but he taught me so much. Even like now, like when I see him, I just be grateful because it's like, if you wouldn't have taught me that you really can't just think that people are good, you have to really, like, you know, learn them, then I would have never learned. But
So you
like
waited
my
all that time
second,
to get a devil.
huh?
You waited all that time to get a devil.
I
Did he
know,
I
show?
was
right?
Did he
gonna
show
say
any
the
signs?
exact same thing.
But
I was
but
like,
right after that, I got the love of my life.
Okay.
My second boyfriend was the love of my life. He is still to this day my best friend. I probably will love him until the day I die, and that was love. And we was in love with each other. We loved each other through stages. We loved each other through the bottom. We loved each other through the top. We loved each other through many different stages, and we are
Okay.
friends. Like, we are friends, and we've been able to stay friends. And it's like we both took some hard turns in life, and it's like, it's just happy to say that we can still be there for each other even to this day. You know, even
Do you
if
think
the
you
romantic
appreciated him?
part of it is, huh?
Do you think you appreciated him more because of the man that you dealt with before him?
Probably so. I don't know.
Because we normally move to the antithesis of the person that we were with.
Right. So I think every time I moved on to another relationship, I keened on what I was missing in the last one.
Exactly.
Right. So that my second boyfriend was the love of my life, my noodle. And then
Woo!
my third
Noodle.
boyfriend was the man of my dreams. Like, if I was to go to sleep, dream
Both
of a man that I wanted to be with, and wake up to that man, he was the man of my dreams. So like, even though it was a small amount of time, like, I had my mistakes. I had to learn. We got the bad guy, right? We got that up out of here. Then you get the love of your life, the person that really just, you be just like silly young and in love. The whole world is falling around a part of you, but love is just keeping you there, which was probably the relationship that taught me that love really wasn't enough, right? To sustain. That's why I learned that you can have all the love in the world, but you have to have all these other factors too, because a person cannot sustain off love alone.
True. So just want to make sure we're on the same page. So pretty much you've been in the dating game for the last 6 years.
No, because by the time
you 27, you was 21.
Right. By the time I was 24, I was over it. So after
she said she'd been celibate for the last 3 years.
October, I was in a relationship when I was.
So basically, okay, I gave you
He
6
just gave up.
I gave you 6 years, but literally
So it was like 20,
it was 3
21,
years.
22, 23, 24. It was 5 years.
Oh, you started in 20. Okay.
Aisha Smith chicken. It was chicken noodles.
So
That's my favorite kind of noodles.
so watch this. I'm gonna throw something out there. You don't have enough information. I'm throwing a curveball at you. Well, somebody says you don't have enough sample size. Whenever you come up with theories, they tell you, 1 time is an occurrence, 2 times a potential occurrence, 3 times is a trend, right?
Right. And look, and every time I elevated them. I elevated with every relationship. The caliber of man was always better until I got the dream guy. And after I got my dream guy and I lost my dream guy, I figure I really need to figure out what I want, right? So I had to just be with me, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna date you for a year, and I'm gonna see what you really, really want. Cause ain't no way in hell you met your dream guy and that didn't work out. So it gotta be you, right? So it's me. So now I gotta fix me, and then I fixed me, and I was just like, you know what?
Maybe neither one. Maybe none of them. Maybe none of them was your dream guy. It was only 5 years. 3, you know what I mean? It was literally only 5 years. You do trucking, right?
Yeah, that's a long time. Y'all don't think that's a long time?
Wait. You do trucking.
Yeah.
You were 20. Were you doing trucking?
No, I went to trucking driving school when I was 22.
Okay. So, do you believe that cultural capital, as in you being able, and proximity, and you being able to be in more places and expose yourself to more places and more people and more experiences, do you believe those kind of things can make a person change their opinion about things or see things in a different way? If they were only here, but now they've gone here, you get what I'm saying? And picked up more experiences, breathed in new air, spoke to new people, drank the water from a different place. Do you believe that has an opportunity to change you?
Yeah, but I think the way I came, I'm gonna tell you, like, when it came to dating, I never was like this hypergamous black woman. I just learned this shit like on YouTube that black women are hypergamous because no. And then another thing is like,
hold on a second. I gotta interrupt you like King do. Yo, fellas, I'm not monopolizing. If y'all want to jump in, feel free to jump in. This is not my show. This is y'all's show. You feel me? So I'm just letting y'all know that. Go ahead, Sherelle. She brave enough to sit up here and represent the flowers. So you know what I mean. But
now you go ahead, Kevin Samuels. I mean, Chef.
But I never knew that, but I knew that my daddy was never a rich man. I could say that we went without a lot, but my daddy loved us unconditionally, and unconditional love is not. It's not like it's not hindering now, especially not when it comes from a man, because it wasn't like he was gonna let us do what we wanted to do, but he loved us unconditionally no matter what stage of life we went through. Because my daddy is definitely strict. My daddy has a way. This is the way you fold clothes. This is the way you wash dishes. This is the way you hang your clothes up. This is the way you iron. Like my daddy was just like, this is the way you make your bed. You gotta fold it like my daddy was that guy.
So random question for you. I'm sorry. I have a random question. The 3 relationships that you were referring to, what was the age range between you and these young men?
Oh, that was all. Let me see. The first one was older. He was like, we were 6 years apart. The second one, we was 2 years apart. The third one, we was 2 years apart. They was like the same age.
Okay, so now you said you realized that love isn't everything, which is completely understandable, right? You can't pay bills off love, which is understandable.
Right, because if love was everything, I just would be back with him, right?
So what would you say would be like the common denominator in terms of what was missing? Because you said you had to take time to work on yourself, right? So what would you say is the common denominator in terms of what you were missing with those 3 relationships and what you're looking for now?
I'm not looking for nothing now.
Well, in moving forward in the future, when you get to your next step, like everything
No,
like
I'm
that.
like never like I'm content with just being alone forever.
Oh wow. Is that like something you stand hard on, or you
Yeah,
developing
like
that?
I haven't like when that relationship ended almost 3 years ago. I don't date. I don't talk to men. I don't have sex. I don't.
Oh,
I
okay, I
don't
got you.
do
I got you.
like you could be
So
my homeboy. You could be my dog. You know what I'm
check
saying?
me
Because I
out.
meet a lot of dudes in trucking, but I'm not about to be no.
But
Hey,
that's
look.
kind of
So you said let me step on you 1 second, my bro. So you said that you left that last relationship. You realized that you were the issue.
Right.
You said you worked on those issues and you feel like you solved them. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So you feel like you're a better person than you were when you left that last relationship. Now,
Yeah, I think I'm a better person, but I think in my road of discovery, I've realized a lot about myself. I think that in my life, I have always went after what I wanted. If I want something, I put the work in, I'm gonna get it. And I realized that was the key factor why my relationships wasn't working. I didn't necessarily really want a relationship. That's why it wasn't working. I didn't,
that was the problem.
right. And so if I don't want it now, I just don't go for it. It doesn't because it just seems like I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting their time. And I'm not and I've never been into the bad guys. I like good guys. And don't get me wrong, from the hood, good guys are something different. So I'm not necessarily saying that they're not rough around the edges, but I'm from the hood. It's not like I'm meeting a bunch of middle class people. So I mean, with real jobs, they rather, work real jobs, not be in the streets, not doing all of this. Like, I had a construction worker, a tire shop technician, and a school teacher. So like
So
I didn't never want the thug or nothing like that or whatever. So I don't
well,
necessarily want
see,
to and I attract good guys, nice
Question
guys.
for you.
I don't want to waste their time.
I got to ask you this. It almost seems as though, and correct me if I'm wrong, it almost seems as though you feel that you may have been the one in those situations that needed to work. Is
Right.
that correct? So then if that's the case, then the fact that you even stated that and admitted that, you are honest as hell, and I really, really, really appreciate you. Because so what I'm saying is this: you felt it was you that needed to work. So I would take it another step and say, then you pulling yourself out of the game, you pulling yourself off the court, it was more as a means of protection to those men, because it sounds like that, where it's like,
Yeah, I'm not even protecting myself. I'm
she don't want to hurt the
protecting
team.
them.
right. I
mean, I'm just not the type of person that's gonna just mess over you. And like I said, I attract good dudes. Well, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I attract the thugs too, but they ain't my, they could be my partners. I would chill with thugs, but I don't want to be in relationships with them because I see how that can go. So, I attract good guys who deserve good women, women that want to be with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
You
about
just
to
gonna let
waste
it dry up?
Huh?
It's
You just gonna let it dry up?
What you mean?
You know.
remember, she been out the gate for a minute. She been out the game for a minute.
Hey, look,
you don't know the next way.
Here's a piece that I'm receiving. We've had a very nice conversation, and there is one piece from this entire conversation that I'm definitely holding on to. I'm understanding that the fact that she did have, for one, she had a father that was in her life. It's clear that he was solid in terms of what he was in her life, right? And the fact that he had as many children as he did and reproduced children as productive as they are, that already sets the expectation of what she's looking for from a man already pretty high. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand why that within itself just causes a problem. Just really trying to find somebody that to lock down with.
And I've always been told, everybody's not your daddy and your brothers. Everybody's not your daddy and your brothers. And I'm just like holding every man, thinking that every man is going to be like my daddy and my brothers, because my daddy and my brothers, my uncles, they're the good men in my life. And like, that's the standard of what a good man is. He loves his wife. You know, he takes care. He don't fight women. He take care of his home. He provide for his kids. He loved them. He nurtured them. He just bought his business, stay out the way. He ain't trying to be in too many people's face. He ain't trying to be on the scene. Like none of us, we ain't no on the scene, need to be in the club, need to be seen, need to be.
So you run into that guy at the truck stop. He's at the truck stop. He's a truck driver. You bump into him in the store. You at Love's or something like this.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay. Now he see you. You see him. Now you know that you're better for all of the growth that you've made, right? You find him physically attractive. For whatever reason, I don't know, y'all talking over the radio, you done heard his voice before, yada yada. Now y'all in communication because you wouldn't mind a friend, even if it's not a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You get to know this man, and he fits all of those criteria that you just labeled that were your standard of the man you see, what a man is supposed to be from the examples you saw around you. Now he fits all of those criteria. Are you still gonna deny that relationship to happen?
I mean, of course, because there's other factors into this. Like, first of all, trucking is just a hard job to have, whether you're a male or a female, to maintain any type of relationship, right? Because trucking, you're away for a long time. And I mean, I know truck drivers, so I know how they get down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no.
Look, bro, I could already see, because I agree with something that Chef said earlier. I really just don't think that she's ran across somebody of a certain power. Like, I mean, who really. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's a different point for a different conversation. But I do think that there's a certain energy that she probably has not come across yet, and it's not going to look in the form of something that she does on a regular basis. So her as a truck driver to find another truck driver, that's not going. That just don't. It's just like Chef said. It's a certain kind of power, a certain kind of energy that a man is going to have that finally has the chance to be able to get through some of them walls that you have to like kind of work through that. Because when I listen to you talk, the mindset that you have, some of the things that you stand on, agree or disagree, you know what I'm saying, whether we agree or disagree on all of the points. It's just the fact that you have things that you stand on, the ability for you to communicate those things, that already, to me, puts you in a place to where I can see how that would be so important for a man that's looking for his wife to help upgrade him. Like we were talking about on King, we were talking about upgrading, getting a partner to upgrade you. Like, I think that you have something that would help a man get to another level just by the way that you speak. I think you're kind of selling yourself short and what you can create in another person. You know what I'm saying? By running away from not wanting to be in love.
Hey, we accepted you being on the bench while you was injured, but now that you're healthy, come on.
Get your ass in the game. Get your ass in the game. Well, hold on.
Y'all did not appreciate Jordan when he came back after retirement. Y'all just didn't.
Listen, girl, let me say something.
You are nowhere near Jordan age. Hold on. Let me stop.
Let her get that one off. Let her get that off. I want to say something first, and I'm gonna tell you why you assisted us with our network, and you were pivotal in some of the things that you did. You come through, you support us, right? And you've been doing that. Was another thing that's dope about you, Sherelle, is the fact that when it finally came time for you to speak, it created. Remember, I always everything you go back and rewind. I say that when you look at a diamond, when you're looking at a diamond, you see the least amount of facets in front of you. You're not going to see the majority of the facets until you rotate that diamond. Once you started to speak, you started rotating the diamond. And what I give you additional respect for is there's something that we call tough nuts, big balls, cojones, right? Now you know you don't got testes, but you get
right.
dramatic, right?
I have them on the inside. They call
You're
ovaries.
gangster. You a gangster. You're a soldier. You're part of that warrior class. When everybody's crying around the burnt ashes, you're the person that's actually picking up the hammer, the nails, and the 2x4. We require you. So these questions I was having and throwing stuff at you, it was like shit. She's gangster enough to stand on her square and be honest and admit the stuff that you admitted. Do you know that there's some dudes that are married, some dudes that have been in relationships where their flowers were not willing to admit to trauma and things like that. And what's beautiful about this situation is that you were able to self-diagnose at such a young age. That means that you're a wise soul. And with each passing moment, you are going to become that much wiser, right? So you're going to be all right, man. You're going to be all right. You know, right now, you know, watch this. You're talking that shit that when I was 27, I was talking to my uncles and them was like, man, shut the fuck up, man. It'd be like that. And it was like,
you
this
know,
is like some big brother talk with you. But the thing is, you were holding court with the fellas. And I'm glad you didn't take it like I was attacking you, because that's not.
Oh no, because it's like I'm a guy's girl, you know. I've always been with the guys because my auntie have 6 sons. Everybody in the family got 2 daughters. All the rest of us is boys. So it's like I've always been the one girl with the 15 boys. But it's like 4 of my brothers, like 7 of them my cousins, and then the rest of them might just be their little friends that's with us. So it's like I've always been able to just, you know, like they harsh. Y'all nice. You know what I'm saying? My cousins, they talk to you crazy. They talk to you reckless or whatever. So you get that. You know what I'm saying? But they strengthen you for this world because it's like this ain't no piece of cake. Ain't nobody gonna be nice to you because you a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like you a girl. You think, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna be nice to you. We gonna let you know and we gonna keep you on point. Me and my friends are the same way. Like we gonna keep each other on point. We ain't gonna let you if you got shit on the back of your leg. We gonna let you know, but you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna let you walk out there and have the world looking at you stupid. We gotta correct you before you go somewhere, right? So you gotta be willing to take correction. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. And you know, there's the advice, the big brotherly advice is that remember, self-improvement is not a sprint. It's not a 100-yard dash. It's a marathon. I always talk about balance and, you know, that I'm not a balanced person. I'm exhibiting balance. I'm practicing balance. I'm, you know, balancing myself and just sharing that medicine with y'all. Don't think that where you are right now is the total point of self-realization. I really want you to think about taking your next steps of healing. You get me? Healing is not just, all right, I did this, I did that, you know, no sex, no dudes. It's way more than that. And as dope as you are, your whole essence works more intricately than that. It's nothing wrong with having a therapist. I got a therapist. And
like I talk to her every week. I've been through to like, because after I got out the relationship, I wanted to just go more in depth. Because I'm gonna tell you, I was raised like my daddy still get mad that I have a therapist. Oh, you can pray it away, ask God. You ain't weak. You could get through whatever. You don't need therapists. Keep your business in house. You know what I'm saying? So my daddy definitely comes from that class of age of men. So like that era where you don't go to therapy or whatever. But I've been through hypnosis therapy. I've been in trance and just like talking to my subconscious mind to unpack traumas and stuff like that or whatever. So I've definitely, you know, done the work, and I'm going to continue to do the work to at least be the best person that I can be. Because you never stop growing. Anything not growing is dead, and I'm alive. So, you know, I got to keep on doing the work to make sure that I'm strengthening everything about who I am.
So at this point, because I know we've been in this thing for a minute, before I let the other fellas go and close it out, you know, my last piece of advice is, man, Whatever you're doing, continue to do it. You know, your essence is extremely strong. Even before you talked, it was coming through strong. You know, just in your avatar. Look, man, just focus on yourself. Keep your mind open a little bit. We already know you ain't gonna get caught slipping, so it's okay to lower the defenses a little bit just to see. You know what I mean? You know, people drive down the road and they put their hand out the window and just, you know, just to feel. Just do that shit, man. Come out the hole, yo. You take a walk out in the yard. You know, like dudes in solitary. Come out the hole, yo. Take a walk in the yard. Bounce the ball. Don't be you. We know you tough. You're a soldier. You're a warrior. You already gonna see the bullshit coming. You feel me? And that's all I say on that. Give it a shot. You know, fellas, what you got to say to little sis? Talk to me. Who's next?
Go ahead, Hunnit.
Or E Black. What E Black at? Before you fall
asleep. She said
she want to hear the back.
Hold on. Go ahead, E Black. You've been summoned.
Oh man, I think everybody has said the same. Our chef really pretty much summed it up really well. You know, you're gonna have to get yourself in the game. You know, I meet a lot of women who are like you, and it never fails. Trust me. Next year you'll probably be married. You know, like
married.
Man, I'm telling you, life hits you in so many ways to where you never know what's coming around the corner, and that's what we're all trying to imply is that, you know, leave yourself open for what your purpose may or may not be. You may not be ready for marriage right now or ready for a relationship right now, but be sure that you're preparing yourself for everything that is coming to you. And that's all we're saying. It's just get yourself ready. Get yourself mentally, physically ready, and you know, stay out of these manosphere places that rot your brain and rot your spirit and talk about how I value this, and you know, get you around some good people who are good spirited, you know, and you know, just like I don't like to be preachy on people, so you know, I don't know how I became the conservative religious guy.
Because you're the Christian.
Just because I'm a Christian doesn't look. Look, y'all, I'm gonna have to go to New Orleans and show you what I get down, how I get down. So
I don't want to see no Christian man getting down.
Ain't no Christian.
Church.
Yeah, I ain't Tyler Perry Christian, you know. Like y'all got me messed up, but yeah, you know, like I said, you know, you got a good head on your shoulders. You know, I wanted to introduce. You know who Chris TV is? He has a YouTube, and he's in the trucking. Okay, I have an interview. I have an interview with him on my channel. Right. I'm gonna see if I can get with him to help you out with your YouTube, because he's really a solid dude, and I think that's would be a great lane for you. You know, women in trucking, beautiful. So you
Black
know,
women in trucking.
Yeah.
We so, pressure. I mean, y'all got to get on the truck drive. Like we have a Facebook group. Mm-hmm. It's like 15,000 of us in there.
Yeah, man, the trucking.
But we are on fire and we beautiful and everything.
Yeah, and y'all be stunting. Trust me, the trucking industry be stunting on us. They be having them 2500s, them 3500s with the big grill, the lights, and the inside with the lights on them. With my little F-150 is nothing. So
I just said that. I just posted in the Facebook group I was like, nobody truck driver. I made $10,000 last week. Like that's just random conversation from truck drivers. Like, bro, okay, we know, and everybody's like, I did make $10,000 last week, and so yeah.
Yeah, I trust me. I researched the numbers. Y'all getting it? So, you know, like I said, I really want to. Like I said, whenever you're ready to start your YouTube, you know, holler at me. You know, I'm willing to open some doors or talk to some people. You know.
Cool. Thank you, Black. And you better take him up on that offer.
I am. I'm gonna have to.
Cool. Big Vic, talk to me, family.
Yo, I just want to say that I appreciate my sister coming up, supporting the show, supporting these brothers, showing that your love is real. You know what I mean? Not the fugazi kind that you don't like.
Mhm.
And we appreciate you just being vulnerable enough to put yourself out there to possibly be critiqued, even though it's coming from a place of love, you know? So, I think your gift is amazing in that it should be shared with the world, just who you are as a person. And I think your ideas will continue to develop. We're not ever, you can say 25 or whatever, but honestly, I feel like when you 18, you just started life, you know? So, this is now you making all of your decisions yourself. No one's telling you not to date or to date. It's all on you, not to drink or to drink. All of your decisions have to be run through your own filter now. So as you grow, just like people change physically, people change mentally and evolve. And I think that, like Chef said, when you look back, you'll see your growth in perhaps if you just keep the window open, just like Chef said, maybe something will fly in. Maybe you'll keep riding it just how you're doing it. But I don't have a problem with any way that you're doing it, as long as you're happy and just know that we love you and we support you.
Yep. And no, all we was doing was trying to marry you off so you go forth and procreate for the future of our warrior class as well. You know what I mean? But listen, yo, damn, I thought this was gonna be an hour, but we started flowing. Excuse me, pardon me.
But King Show didn't last that long, so we doing good. Cause the show probably just be starting right now.
Yeah, the thing is, normally what it is that with the post game and pre game, we try to keep it to an hour, right? But in the post game, the whole thing is I didn't want this thing to be me. I just wanted it to be y'all, and I would just spin, roll the ball in different directions, so to speak. So it was going to be as long as it organically flowed with y'all. And
What Watts got for me? Say the best for last. What Watts got for me? Look, I see him. You see him? You be seeing his facial expressions? I be watching his facial expressions. You got to put him up so he can say his piece.
Come on, baby.
I think in this conversation, even for what probably more for everybody, just everybody in general, God for you. Something I picked up, lust is love without intention, right? Lust is love without intention. What I started to figure out is a lot of people are mixing up love and lust because you don't really have intention. And by intention, a lot of it is included in being aware of what it is that you give and what you're looking to receive. Once you can be honest about what it is that you give to your partner and what it is that you're really looking to receive, you can be honest about if your relationship is truly going to work or not. So you can get out of those lines of love and lust. Lust is love without intention. You have to be intentional about what it is that you're looking for and what you give. That's all I got.
Thank you. Thank all y'all. Shout out to M3 in the chat. I rocked his show last night, yo. Yeah. And I got an interview on his channel next Wednesday, y'all. So he gonna put me in the hot seat and ask me all these crazy questions. But it looks like y'all preparing me for it right now, right?
Okay, yeah, you gave it all.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't stick the razor blades under the fingernails yet. That's the torture part. That comes later now. But anyway, look, man. All I can say is thank you. Merci beaucoup. Gracias. All datoimashita.
Te quiero mucho.
Arigato. Datoimashita. That's Japanese. Thank you.
Hasta luego.
Obrigado. That's Brazilian. Salamat. That's Filipino Tagalog. I just said a whole bunch of thank you, man. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you for understanding the levels of my insanity, And we kicked ass tonight. It was definitely fun. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please feel free. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. And let's see. If you guys want to hit me via email, Chef Shupino, one word at Gmail, Chef Shupino at Gmail, IG, Chef Shupino, one word. And then if you want to drop a little something in the Cash App, Chef Shapino, one word as well. Thanks for the support. So it's been great. Stay tuned for tomorrow's great lineup of, Conversation with Kings Network shows. We're going to do pregame with E Black tomorrow. We're going to have a show at 7, and then we're going to be back here at 10 or 11 o'clock, depending on how organically the main show goes, because we're not going to just shut it down midstream. All right?
Yeah.
Peace and love, y'all. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for everything. And, catch you on the other side. Holla back.
Peace.